Here's some breaking news that's coming in. Prime Minister Modi and Sri Lankan President hold bilateral talks. India-Sri Lanka to sign key memoranda of understanding. Key defence energy deals are on the cards. This will be the first ever India-Lanka defence deal to be inked. Now, all eyes will be on the defence deal expected to be brought up today. If signed, the deal would mark a new chapter in India's defence ties with its neighbour since the Indian peacekeeping mission was forced to withdraw more than 3 decades ago. With this agreement, New Delhi and Colombo would move strategically closer in terms of joint maritime surveillance, military exercises and equipment support. These are the latest visuals that are coming in from the key meet, the bilateral meet that was held between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Sri Lankan President Dasanayake. All eyes are on the defence deal that is expected to be brought up today. If signed, the deal would mark a new chapter in India's defence ties with its neighbour since the Indian peacekeeping mission was forced to withdraw more than 3 decades ago. Now, with this agreement, New Delhi and Colombo would move strategically closer in terms of joint maritime surveillance, military exercises and equipment support. Now, this visit is aimed at enhancing bilateral defence relations and strengthening partnerships in energy, trade and connectivity sectors. The leaders are expected to finalise a significant defence cooperation agreement following recent discussions between Prime Minister Modi and President Dasanayake. Earlier, before departing, Prime Minister Modi had stated that the two countries will have the opportunity to review progress made on the joint vision of fostering partnerships for a shared future and provide further guidance to realise the shared objectives between India and Sri Lanka. Now, the joint vision was established during the Sri Lankan President's New Delhi visit 3 months ago. If signed, the Memoranda of Understanding on Defence Cooperation is set to signal a major upward trajectory in India-Sri Lanka defence ties, leaving behind the bitter chapter relating to India pulling out the Indian peacekeeping force from the island nation around 35 years ago. Now, China's growing military influence on Sri Lanka could also be seen as another reason for India's renewed efforts to strengthen ties with Colombo, with now the Prime Minister, as can be seen in the images and the visuals on your screen, meeting the Sri Lankan President Dasanayake. The meet, which is aimed at enhancing bilateral defence relations and strengthening partnerships in energy, trade and connectivity sectors. Now, at their first meeting in New Delhi back in December, the leaders had discussed investments in Sri Lanka and plans for India to supply liquefied natural gas to Sri Lanka and help link power grids. The talks also featured development of a regional energy and industrial hub in eastern Trincomalee. In January, Dasanayake had said that the two were in talks in building an oil refinery as a joint venture focusing on exports. Now, India is looking to strengthen energy and defence ties with Sri Lanka and promote investments during Prime Minister Modi's visit to the island nation, when New Delhi competes with China for greater influence. Sri Lanka is keen to attract foreign investment to stabilise its economy after a financial crisis in 2022, during which India had provided a $4 billion financial aid to the country. Now, India is also one of Sri Lanka's key bilateral lenders, which agreed to restructure about $1.36 billion in loans after the island nation defaulted on its debt in May 2022. Now, Prime Minister Modi's visit aims to strengthen the long-standing ties between Sri Lanka and India. This is what the Sri Lankan President had said in an official statement earlier. Now, the visit will see pacts signed on key sectors such as energy, digitization, security, healthcare, as well as agreements related to India's debt restructuring assistance to Sri Lanka. Now, earlier in a statement by the Indian High Commission in Colombo, Modi had expressed confidence that his visit would help in building on the foundations of the past and contribute to strengthening close relationships with Sri Lanka for the benefit of our people and the wider region. This is what Prime Minister Modi had said earlier. This visit, Prime Minister Modi's visit, follows the visit of Sri Lankan President Dasanayake to India in December last year. Modi had explained that the two countries will have the opportunity to review progress made on the joint vision of fostering partnerships for a shared future and provide further guidance to realise the shared objectives.